Hello everyone, I'm Den Haring and welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365. Today I have a few tips for your rod tip. So it's that time of the year where we do maintenance on our rods and reels in preparation for the coming fishing season. And one of the things that I like to do with my rods is check the guides, all the way to the last tip. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how I do that. So the first thing I do is I'll take the fishing reel off my rod. And we'll be doing some maintenance on that reel very soon, but today we're going to focus on the rod. Put that down there. And so once the reel is off my rod, I want to just do an inspection of the rod, and we'll do an inspection of the guides. Now there's a lot of suggestions out there for how to check your guides. One of the things that happens is sometimes you can get a groove from the line rubbing through your guides, especially with braided line. It's a little more likely to happen with braided line. And you don't want a groove in your guides or your tip because it can make it sharp, and you could be trying to land the biggest fish of your lifetime and your line will break and you won't know why, and it'll be that because you have a groove in your guide or one of your tips. So you always want to take a look at your guides and your tips to make sure there's no grooves in them. And I say look, but a lot of people use different techniques. They'll use a tissue and they'll push a tissue paper through there, or sometimes you'll use a Q-tip and you'll push a Q-tip through your rod guide. And if you see anything left over on the guide, well then that's an indication that it hung up on something. But I've done this for a long time. There's nothing better than your eyes when it comes to checking your guides. Nothing better at all. So I'm nearsighted, so I can see very good without my glasses close up. Much better than 20/20 when I'm looking close at something. So I use that. You need good lighting. You want to be under good light when you do this. And you want to make sure that if you can't see well close up, that you have a magnifying lens or some way of magnifying so that you can see your guides well enough. So what I'll do is I'll just take my glasses down and I'll just look at each one of these guides very carefully. And what I'm looking for is where the line goes through. Is there any grooves or imperfections or deviations or anything that could have that line hang up in or get weaker? And as I go down this rod here, I'm looking at each guide and I notice I'm actually missing a guide. I must have had a guide that broke off my rod. There was a guide here and it's no longer here. So this is something that I probably want to correct before the fishing season. It's just a matter of adding a guide to that. Take a look at these last several ones. I probably stepped on the rod somewhere along the way and broke the guide off. That happens sometimes. And then the tip is the most important one to check for two reasons. One is it gets a lot of pressure from your line being there because it's on the tip, but then also it's the most likely thing to be damaged from impacts and things like that when you're walking around with your rod, because it's the first thing that makes contact with stuff if you're walking forward with your rod. So you have to be aware of that. This tip looks great. So my guides are good. I need a new guide right here. You can see I'm missing a guide in the middle there. That's something I'll have to take care of on this rod. And then the other thing is I always check the reel seat. I want to make sure everything is smooth here. When I put the reel back on, I'll even put some oil on the threads here. Just a little bit of light dab oil to make it easy to tighten and loosen the reel seat screw here. And then the other thing I like to do is wash the rod. So what I'll do is I'll take a washcloth and some very mild dish detergent, and I'll just wipe the rod down, or wipe the guides down, and just clean the rod because it gets scum and dirt on it over the season. And then I'll do the same with the handle as well, especially a cork handle. And sometimes with a cork handle, if it's a little dirty like this one is, I'll take a sponge that has a little bit of an abrasive side to it, take some dish soap, and I'll just wipe that down and wipe it off real good. And oftentimes that'll bring the cork back to looking new again. It'll make it bright again. It'll make your rod look brand new. If that doesn't work, if your cork is really, really filthy, maybe you haven't done this in a number of years and your cork is really dirty, the other thing you can do is take a really, really fine grit sandpaper, as fine as you can find, and just rub that sandpaper onto the cork, because cork is very soft and light, and that'll take that dirt layer off for you, and then you'll have a brand new looking cork handle on your rod. And I also make sure that I clean and wash the reel seat real good as well. And that's what I'll do for all of my rods so that I'm ready for the upcoming fishing season. Well, I hope you found the video useful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're all about the art and science of bass fishing. We're certified Bassified. And as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.